At some point in the afternoon, wait, hold on. Troopus, I don't even know who this is. Text Chesbro, tear gas in the Capitol. Chesbro responds, I caught a whiff, LOL. Chesbro also sends Troopus a picture of himself outside the Capitol. Oof. Wait, where did these come from? When you're linking me exhibits, link me the case. I want to know where these come from. Read this. Okay, my bad. Way to go. Now it didn't load. Thanks, you loser. Just kidding. Good job.
Okay, see you guys later. It's the Bennetts. Okay, see you guys later. It's the Bennetts.
Hello, Madam Vice President. Hello, Senator Bennett. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. How many? Okay. All right. Oh my God. A veritable treasure trove of text messages. Yes. Okay. Wait, where do these come from? Also, wait, who's Troopus? Oh, found what we're reading tonight. Oh boy. Trump. Who was this guy? Some attorney, some lawyer, former Trump attorney in Wisconsin. Okay. They got the iPhones out. Oh no. Let's talk when you have a moment. Jim T. Now is good, Jim. Hey, I just emailed you. No rush on getting back to me. But I did a memo, which I hope you can get, which I hope I can get to you securely, either Google Drive or Dropbox. Call for password. Hold on, I'm only gonna answer this one more time. Fuck. I wish there was a way to like beam into your mind so that I don't get stupid questions to come up. Destiny's supposed to make a 15-minute video about this. Now it seems like it will be a 12-hour documentary. Okay, what have I said 50 million times? All right. I don't like when I debate people who have made 20-minute video essays, and then when I talk to them, they only know the 20 minutes that they put in the video essay. They don't know anything about what they're talking about, okay? If you want to construct a proper 15 to 20-minute video, you should be able to talk for hours or days about the subject matter that you're making a video on. Otherwise, how could you possibly contextualize anything without knowing anything else about it? So the final video that I hope to make on this is probably going to be hopefully 10 to 20 minutes long. 20 at the tops, at the most tops thing. But yes, there's going to be probably 20 hours of stuff we could talk about that goes into it, because the process of creating a video necessarily means that you need to have the contextual information around it to pick and choose which facts are important enough to create an outline, a synopsis of something. Do you understand that, right? Creating a summary of a thing doesn't mean that you just know enough to make the summary. It means you know everything, and then you choose. Editorial choices are made to pick out what is the important thing that you want to make the actual video or the summary about. Jesus fucking Christ. So yes, there's a lot more reading and research that goes into making good material, okay? If you spend 20 minutes researching for a 20-minute video, it's because you're a fucking retard. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Okay. Jim, I just sent around input on the petition. I noticed not on email list. Bierce, Olson hit Justice Kelly. If you don't have it and need it, let me know. We're just not printing final version for POTUS signature. Which petition are you referring to? Okay, Troopus' first name is Jim, right? That's... Okay, stop. What is his fucking name? I'm gonna kill my video games. Jim Troopus. Okay, Christ. We're just not printing final. Okay. Oh, for the Wisconsin Supreme Court review, apparently not urgent. I'm headed to Washington in the AM to brief the White House. More and more, it looks like a go in Wisconsin. Great to hear. I saw Ken Starr on Fox today read the reluctance of Republican state legislators to actually award electoral votes to Trump-Pence. I have some thoughts about how the legislators might at least make findings that Trump supporters in the Jan 6 joint session could rely on to cast doubt on the validity of electoral votes cast for Biden. I also have some thoughts about how Trump can reduce the sense that the contests must be decided by December 8th or 14th. Probably some leading minds nationally are pursuing such points, but I can put together a menu for you if it seems worthwhile. And then, one of the keynote flirty smiley faces. How curious that, as People's Pundit notes, Trump won the largest non-white vote share for our president candidate in 60 years. Biden underperformed HRC in every... Can I talk about this? Jim, Trump's tweets leads me to ask, are we articulating due process and equal protection objections to our being barred from having observers within a few feet of the poll workers during both the initial count and recount? The beauty of a procedural due process objection is one needn't prove it changed the result. Seems to me that Dane County clerk mixing in bad ballots with good to thwart an effective remedy also is a procedural DP problem. Let me know if I should finalize memo on real deadline. I think we should be sure national lawyers are aware of these points. The beauty of a procedural due process objection is that one doesn't need to prove it changed the result. I mean, for your court case, don't you have to? I thought that was an important part. Can I find information? A procedural due process objection. The U.S. Constitution requires that federal and state governments abide by certain procedures to protect the essential interests of all citizens. The 5th and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution guarantee due process to all citizens. The amendments, also known as the due process clauses, protect citizens when the government deprives them of life, liberty, or property and limits the government's arbitrary exercise of its power. The U.S. Constitution requires two types of due process: procedural due process and substantive due process. As indicated by the name, procedural due process is concerned with the procedures the government must follow in criminal and civil matters, and substantive due process is related to rights that citizens have from government interference. Procedural due process refers to the constitutional requirement that when the government acts in such a manner that denies a citizen life, liberty, or property interest, the person must be given notice, the opportunity to be heard, and a decision by a neutral decision maker. But for procedural, so I'm only going by Cornell here, so admittedly this is just like a summary, I guess, but it seems like you would have to prove an injury here, right? Because it's when they act in such a manner that denies a citizen of life, liberty, or property interest. Don't you? It seems like you'd need an injury here. Destiny, not necessarily a procedural due process, is basically saying you've been deprived of a proper opportunity to participate and protect your own interests/rights. Even if nothing bad happens to deprive you of rights, you need to protect the procedural right to make sure these groups don't become arbitrary. Would this apply to like how you count votes and everything though? Like, the government must also demonstrate that there is an articulated standard of conduct for their actions with sufficient justification. The requirements, called fundamental fairness, protect citizens from unjust or undue deprivation of interest. However, the specific procedures guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution may depend on the nature of the subject matter of the interest in question, as well as each individual's circumstances. In the article Some Kind of Hearing, the famous Judge Henry Friendly provides a list of due process elements for a fair hearing. Judge Friendly's list remains highly persuasive to this day. The list goes as follows: a neutral and unbiased tribunal, a notice of the government's intended action and the asserted grounds for it, the opportunity for the individual to present the reasons why the government should not move forward with the intended action, the right for the individual to present evidence, including the right to call witnesses. In most cases, we examine the fundamental fairness of the government's actions to determine whether the government has met the requirements for due process. The requirement or the criteria for determining whether the due process requirements have been met depends on whether the particular government action concerns a civil or criminal proceeding. Specifically, in civil contests, the courts utilize a balancing test between private interest, the government's public interest, and the possibility of the government procedures' erroneous deprivation of private interest in evaluating government conduct. On the other hand, in criminal procedures, the court looks to whether the procedure the government has adopted is offensive to the notion of fundamental fairness for the due process analysis. The analysis of due process is thus inquiring more narrowly for criminal procedures. Okay, I don't understand what I don't understand. I guess I just don't understand what this would look like, but I don't know. I don't know. Somebody will explain it, or maybe it's just lawyer memery. I'm not sure. I'm a skeptic type / expert hater, but I get a little worried listening to Destiny talking about law. It's not just words. What do you mean? Yes on memo, make appropriate changes knowing that it goes to our audience, but okay for it to stay styled as memo from me to you, focusing on Wisconsin. That way we don't claim that it's any big deal. On the memo, I'm adding a colorful conclusion, re Ron Klain's candid admission in a 2002 essay that the Gore recount team aired by adopting first December 18th and December 12th as the deadlines, noting that to emphasize the importance of the Trump campaign not making the same mistake and creating maximum room for this to play out. Ken, I think the Dane County clerk may have distributed ballots and ballot envelopes without a request, so tonight they're trying to change the repaint rules so that we can not see the applications. This feels criminal to me. Could you do a quick check? Let me know your thoughts. I saw Trump's retweet of height on that. Several quick thoughts. One, substantively, doesn't this backfire? Our position is that under Wisconsin statute, an absentee ballot can be counted only if there's an accompanying application, which must be retained for 22 months, notwithstanding the recount manual saying all ballots, because you wouldn't want to disenfranchise a voter because one got misplaced, lol. So they don't show you any applications for absentee ballots. They're worse off, right? Now is the time. If they're going to put up or shut up under Wisconsin law, they can change whatever procedure they want. But if they don't produce applications now, the record will contain none. The how many ballots will be thrown out in court without them having an opportunity to provide them later, right? In other words, the burden isn't on us to convince them or a court to produce applications. The burden is on the clerks to prove the number of applications they have on file or else suffer a massive drawdown. Okay. Yes, I agree. This is why I'm wondering why they took this gamble. It's a foolish act unless they really are hiding something big. What is the end game? Put simply, on a recount, they can't count absentee votes unless there are a matching number of valid applications, and validity can only be verified by examining the applications, which the campaign has a right to do. You've made your record by showing they didn't produce applications. Before I get to number 2 and 3, does WEC have to go through, WEC I think is Wisconsin's Election Commission? Who is this conversation between? Two Trump private lawyers, I believe, or campaign lawyers, Chesborough and Trupus. They might both be from Wisconsin, I think, maybe. Come up with a bogus excuse that maybe a court will buy and at least try to run out the clock before December 8th, thinking a court might view that as the deadline. Anything but let Trump win. Maybe their view is applications aren't relevant given their earlier guidance. Due to streamline the recount, they'll only show them if the court orders it. Just strikes me that legally burden isn't on us to rush to court and force them to show applications, which would slow down the recount, maybe their aim. If we object for the record, best case is reviewing. Court disallows all the absentee ballots permanently. Worst, the court disallows all the absentee ballots. Worst case is, provided it buys our statutory argument, is it disallows them temporarily and remands to let the clerk try to cure. There are 2 ideas that if the WC changes recount procedures after November 3rd, it might deprive Biden of the safe harbor protection of this, blah, blah, blah. What is this guy's law background? Kenneth Chesborough. He earned his JD from Harvard Law. Jeez.
Hey.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
I just to pop in to provide a little bit of context on the procedural due process thing. Basically, in voting law, as I understand it, the way that it attaches is the idea of, one, making sure that there aren't procedural changes with that are done after voting would occur or after election day that would impact the way in which votes are counted, but also number 2, not changing the rules arbitrarily without good justification before or after election day to where people who are voting can't rely on their type of voting to be counted. It's kind of like a reliance theory. And so the expectation is that um, you have a clear understanding going into election day of who is eligible to vote and how those votes are going to be counted. And so if those rules are messed with or changed without proper opportunity to participate in the structure or the administrative process, then people's rights could be fundamentally impacted.
Sure. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Love you. Be careful.
Take it easy. Bye.
Crazy. Okay.
I'll crawl out of this hole soon enough. Take my ring off, sell the car. I wish you health with your
Jesus. Might Trump and Pence be deemed to have a property interest under Wisconsin law and the chance to win the 10 electoral votes in the manner prescribed by Wisconsin positive law? Property isn't just stuff, it can be created by state law. If they do, perhaps they are being deprived of property without procedural due process due to lack of notice and an opportunity to be heard about any recount changes.
the book stacked on the bed where your legs used to rest. Instead,
Damn, this guy's a very big emoji wielder. He's got the winky face and everything. It's a big story on Fox tonight. Wow, thanks for letting me know. If they're going to lose anyway due to the rabbit you pulled out of the hat, they've been better off going by the book. Doing this taints them. Election officials nationwide, you are the center of the storm.
I can't bake the bread or bring home the flour.
Please see this memo. Does it change your analysis? The fuck is this?
Divorce is gigantic.
Can I like just...
And I've always been slow to get off of some drugs, to let go of some love.
It's asking about changing the electors. There are holes in this argument. Judge Posner wrote a book on Bush v. Gore that helps us here. I can do a memo after call. The key is memo ignores 3 U.S.C. 2. Whenever any state has held an election for the purpose of choosing electors and has failed to make a choice on the day prescribed by law, the election may be appointed on a subsequent day. Okay, blah, blah. Why not insist on polling a sample of 100 indefinitely confined voters in each county and then send people to interview all 200 to come up with a rough percentage of whose votes that have to be drawn down? That sampling might convince a court of massive fraud. The fuck?
Take my ring off.
Okay. Sounds like the Trump challenges are heating up nationally, maybe forward to Reince or others. My memo on Jan 6 being the real deadline. Best to be sure. No Trump lawyers or spokespeople make the mistake Klain and Boyce made in 2000, setting an earlier date, which proved fatal. See the Rudy in his press conference and answering questions said a federal court lawsuit will follow the recount. Make sure he's corrected. Powerful. Wow. Trump fires FBI Director Comey amid Russia investigation. Powerful. Is this true? I have no idea where this is coming from. Didn't you and Steven try to knock on doors for Warnock and GA, and the campaign had to tell you to stop because you guys were knocking on the wrong doors? You ended up getting a Republican vote. No, I have no idea where this claim is coming from. I've never heard this in my entire life. Democrats are reaping fruit of years of anti-Trump conspiracy theories. LOL, what? It's a Russian bot? No, it's the guy who got mad that I wouldn't shake his hand. Attorney's heading on. EmpowerWisconsin.org. Jim, I think it's a waste of time. I plan to draft a memo in simple question answer format, arguing that the Trump campaign nationwide should push back on any idea that it needs to win in enough states by December 8th to have 270 electoral votes by then, or at least deny Biden 270 votes by then. Only plausible way to have time enough to win is to say January 6th is the deadline, which is legit if the Trump electors all cast their votes on December 14th, which they don't need court or legislative authorization to do. No disruption. Whoops. No disruption to country by viewing January 6th as the deadline. Biden is getting security briefings and transition is going forward smoothly. If by January Trump ends up winning, the government will go on as normal. Waiting until January 6th would only be a problem with the challenger or the non-incumbent. I will work out a memo unless you have a better use of my time. I can focus on helping the next few days as necessary. Huge decision issued by a Commonwealth Court judge, Patricia McCullough. Can you link these? Sure, here you go. Since your reaction to this federal complaint, I think it needs to be more focused. Is this guy? I'm not even being mean. It's not me to say it. Is he like flirting with the guy, or I can't tell? Jim, I hope you're getting sleep. I know you're super close to her, but just a reminder to have someone get copies to Vicky. Obviously, I guess, but you're so overstretched. Emoji was an accident, but perhaps a Freudian slip. Do you think is he gay? I have no idea. Hi, Jim. I just saw you did or are doing a call. I will wait for an update. Jim, I'm on a flight to New York City from I don't know if Colin Bow. Never mind, Joe sent it. I just emailed the beef stuff. Is he deleted? Did he delete text messages, or is this guy just like quadruple texting? Sending you a 6-page memo having all Trump electors in all 6 contested states vote December 14th. I think Justin Clark should have it ASAP. Okay, by copying. Send it to the White House this afternoon. The real decision maker. It's great. I'll skip to Reince so he might talk with the president. The people in the White House understand how Pence could use his position as president of the Senate to at least, for a time, stop the count at 12-0 in Trump's favor and force the Dems to face the argument that the Electoral Count Act is in at least some respects unconstitutional. I can sketch that for you in an email so you can run it by them and then follow with a memo if warranted. I guess Pence is playing things cautiously, but there is a very defensible technical way he could throw a wrench in the count to buy more time. Wow, given evidence that China might have been involved in rigging the election, I'd love to see a debate in January in which this video is played. One thing that I think you should keep in mind as we read these, and who knows, maybe I'll be wrong, maybe something will come out that's a little bit different as we read these, but notice how, I think it's fair to say from what we've seen so far, absolutely none of this has to do with like thinking that there was actual voter fraud or that there was significant voter fraud or that there was outcome determinative voter fraud. All of it is focused on like kind of like this niche either procedural stuff or these very wacky legal theories on how to have your people vote the way you want them to, right? Notice that. I think that's worth noticing. One second. Amen, brothers. We got the good cookies. We got the good cookies today. Why are there no leaks of text from Democrats trying to upend the system? Are they just better at keeping everything under wraps? Or they're just morally superior people? Crazy, huh? You know what's crazy too? Is that the leaks that we have from Republicans seem to come from court subpoenas, and the leaks that we have from Democrats seem to come from foreign hacks. Huh. Weird, huh? Jim, maybe send draft a petition to Rudy and ask for input on Part 2C. If it's the first filing which Trump says January 6th is the real deadline, best to make sure that the top guys feel appropriately consulted once filed. I think Texas should file a copy of the petition with the Supreme Court. Take notice of Trump's position that it has enough time to rule without an emergency order. We need to get all the lawsuits on this timetable. We'll also help convince electors that there's a point to them voting on December 14th. This was the tweet. Seven-minute video by Tucker. Fuck that. What is this? Oh, it's fucking retired. Okay. Working all day to get the other states in line with December 14th. Please see an email I just sent with updates. I have a checklist, to-do list for the other 5 states. We'll do one for Wisconsin. It sends to you, blah, blah, blah. Forgot to send an email on press release. Mike Brown with campaign asked, hi, I just emailed you 7 documents on December 14th electoral college vote. I also sent them to Brian and Austin. All blew up. The court wants a brief at 10. And oral arguments are noon Saturday. They will rule by Monday. Even if we lose, hope we get 3 justices to say the deadline is January 3rd and January 6th. And the Supreme Court should rectify this Article 2 violation. I'm in Madison trying to find where everyone is. In the middle of the spam court hearing, or SPM court hearing. I don't know what this means. Supreme Court hearing. This is Megan. I'm sitting next to Jim, handling the phone, etc. The address is doxed. Sophia emailed it to you yesterday. Thanks. See you later. I was just there. No way to get in the front door. Knock on the glass window to your right. Someone will let you in. Okay. Thanks. Outside now. Aw. My little trader friends. What happened to Acting Attorney General Clark? Well, I don't think he was ever made Acting AG. I don't know what happened to him. Jeffrey Clark. Apparently Clark hasn't responded to his indictment in the Georgia RICO case. Ethics violations. Okay. I'm at a hotel working a memo for Rudy on Endgame in Congress. What? For now, I'm at home enjoying Scalia Speaks, a marvelous collection of his speeches. That would be an appropriate book while we wait for a decision. Okay. I was on Law Review with Ed Whelan. Fuck, where? Does this video exist anywhere? Scalia would rule for you in identical circumstances, even if you were arguing for Biden. I'll tell you a funny story of how I met him while he was still in D.C. Circuit. Could you give me Brian's number? I accidentally deleted it. Also Jefferson's. Thomas Jefferson? The Patriots? You meant like he's watching it. I was on Law Review. Oh, he's watching. Okay. Vice presidents are generally very much in the background. What do you think the average Democrat versus average conservative knows / thinks about her? If you had to summarize her as a candidate, who, Kamala Harris? I have no fucking idea. Do you plan on having this be clean language-wise? Probably. They won't let electors in the Capitol building. Oh no! Our fake electors! The DOA is keeping out everyone but the Biden electors. Not even staff can get in. Apparently the plan is to do it outside. Maybe you or Shimming or someone else wants to come over. They're just doing it outside. No big deal. Apparently on the west side. They seem to have it covered. Wisconsin meeting of the real electors is a go. Cringe. So what? This was on December 14th is when this happened? This is Michigan. And this is December 15th. Yeah, okay, yeah. Fact lickers try to get in. I wonder if they have video of the Wisconsin attempt. Damn, I don't think they have videos of them trying to get in.
The month after the presidential election in 2020, Democratic and Republican electors representing the candidate who won the popular vote in their states gathered across the country to formally cast electoral votes for president. But in 7 states that Joe Biden won, Republican electors got together anyway and cast phony votes for Donald Trump. They've become known as fake electors, and according to federal prosecutors, they were part of a plan to overturn the election, orchestrated by pro-Trump attorneys with Trump's support. State criminal charges have been filed against fake electors in Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada. Wisconsin's fake electors haven't been charged, and several weeks ago, one of them, Andrew Hitt, an attorney and former chairman of the state Republican Party, agreed to sit down with us to explain how he says he and Wisconsin's other GOP electors were tricked by the Trump campaign.
The story will continue.
This is why a lot of them tried to get into the buildings in the respective states, is because the statutes prescribe like the place and then the time and the date, and then that's what they attest to in their electoral voting certifications. That's why a lot of them tried to get into the building instead of just meeting in some other place.
The ruling rejected
Elector scheme, and he said that It had to go through the courts. He brought up Chesborough, and now it's we will never know for sure because he took a plea. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Trump was convicted in New York State, and that doesn't count because it was rigged. If Trump would have taken a plea, then it wouldn't have counted. Like, fuck off. Tell your friend to go do some laundry. How does he have time to do all of this like federal indictment work and everything while still hosting? Like, how many different podcasts does he do on No Jumper? It's like a different video.
Pennsylvania and Michigan.
He said we can't.
What was the state where we had seen them before? The fake electors trying to get in. I thought there was a guy. Oh no, wait. I think it is this guy. Never mind. This is the one we've watched before. Is this? So I remember right. Or no, wait. Or was it? No, I think it is. I think that's the one we usually see. It is the same one. No, wait. Is it? Hold on. No, it is. I can tell by the cop's mask.
So you're telling us we can't enter? Yes. Okay, would you say that on the
Wait, is it?
But these are the rest of the electors.
I understand. The official seal document and the certificate of application has also the GOP electors. They are here. They're trying to do their constitutional duty. I understand. And the constitutional duty. I can.
It's the same lady? Look at her hair. Look at her hair here. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I see. This is her. I thought this was one of the cops. Okay. Oh, and then here's the chubby cop. Yeah, okay, you're right. Lucky this. Talk to Pence about the scheme beforehand. We'll look at exactly what those conversations were because Pence has made notes of them. I've got it here under pressuring Mike Pence. So. This guy? Like a priori, I would, yes. Like if you're roping people into a scam and you can just have them acting earnestly without telling them it's a scam, then you would just do that. You wouldn't need to inform them. I totally believe that the communication from Trump's campaign to these people would have been, hey, listen, just because we're investigating voter fraud, we're just going to have you guys do up an alternate slate of electors so that if we can prove voter fraud by the time January 6th rolls around, Pence can choose these and everything will be in the up and up. I could easily see them. And he's correct. Jack Smith says as much in the indictments that some of the electors, at least some of them, now I don't know if all of them were tricked, but at least some of them seemed like they were misled. It's a picture? Really? Actually disgusting. Actually fucking disgusting. What, I missed it? What's disgusting? We're not reading a text. We're not reading text in a PDF. Each of these pages is a fucking picture. So I can't control F it. It's disgusting. Okay, I'm too lazy to find this. Oh, wait. The next day on December 8th, co-conspirator 5 called the Arizona attorney on co-conspirator 6's list. In an email after the call, the Arizona attorney recounted his conversation with co-conspirator 5 as follows. I'd have to scroll up to remember who each of the co-conspirators are, but I just talked to the gentleman who did that memo, co-conspirator 5. That must be referring to Eastman or Chesbrough. His idea is basically that all of us, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania, etc., have our electors send in their votes, even though the votes aren't legal under federal law because they're not signed by the governor, so that members of Congress can fight about whether they should be counted on January 6th. They could potentially argue that they're not bound by federal law because they're Congress and make the law, etc. Kind of wild / creative. I'm happy to discuss. My comment to him was that I guess there's no harm in it, legally at least, i.e., we would just be sending in fake electoral votes to Pence so that someone in Congress can make an objection when they start counting votes and start arguing that the fake votes should be counted. But I feel like there's something in here about tricking some of the electors. I know it's in here somewhere. I don't want to reread this entire indictment right now. Page 5, means and manners. Oh, some fraudulent electors were tricked into participating based on the understanding that their votes would be used only if the defendant succeeded in outcome-determinative lawsuits within their state, which the defendant never did. The defendants and co-conspirators then caused these fraudulent electors to transmit their false certificates to the vice president and other government officials to be counted at the certification proceeding on January 6th. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I believe it's possible. Yeah.
And
minutes video, like 13 minutes. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. What is this meeting for? Are these electors or I'm not sure. December 15th. There's cameras here. They must be, right? I'm not sure. Hagedorn, what a name. Apparently will be invited to the White House after January 20th. Laughing emoji. Please keep the secret so Brian can be the first. Wow, and he's sending a screenshot that this guy asked to keep secret. Oh, that's the picture he took of the 60 Minutes thing? Okay. The fake elector duders, okay. Shit. Should we know all of these people? I don't think... That's not Giuliani, is it? I can't tell who any of these people are. I don't think that's Giuliani. It is? Oh, it is Giuliani? Oh, okay. I don't remember it is. Oh, it's not? It is? Looks like Leahy. Holy shit, it's my dad. Hi, Destiny watching, or hey, Destiny, criminal defense lawyer here. I'm watching on a delay. In my state, possession in a car is not strict liability. The state has to prove you knew it was there and intended to possess it. Okay. Wow, based on 3 days ago, I think we have a unique understanding of this. President Donald Trump calls for protests in D.C. on January 6th. Says, be there, will be wild. Your interview with Vicky was amazing, incredibly powerful, a clarion call. Disgusting that info like this would ever leak, whether attorney-client privileged or not. Trump discussed naming campaign lawyer as special counsel on election fraud. Gross violation of privilege. Sad. On Hagedorn, make sure to alert Vicky and Dan and make sure they have someone like Rick Eisenberg or a legal ethics professor explain how bad this is. I've contacted them both. God. Ken is texting Jim so much. We need to get it filed today, Ken. We're not pushing the deadline. Send it now. This is good at showing some of the dynamics around the president and why I think he puts so much trust in you. You must be self-aware that he has a weakness for overly loyal yes men. He knows you're loyal and fighting hard, but respects that you set limits and don't sugarcoat anything, and you don't need a job. Jesus. Thank you, Ken. January 6th, did the senator and representative objecting to counting Wisconsin need to be from Wisconsin? Once they object, then break for 2 hours. Can they do that for each state with 2 hours for each? Oral arguments have expedited. I will need a serious set of moot courts to prepare. Who might we ask? Do you want to participate? No one can speak more than once for 5 minutes. First, confirm Senate objector. Millions of voters concerned about election integrity deserve to be heard. I will object on January 6th on their behalf. You know what, actually? I think I would implicate, in my mind, I said before that Republicans had a right to do their objections during the in the Senate when they were counting the electoral votes, and that's fine if they want to go through that process. I think I rescind that comment. I would implicate all of them in this scheme. Unless I'm having a misunderstanding. My bet is when you have a right to object to the certification of that vote in the Senate, you're not objecting because you think there's a voter fraud or something. You're objecting because you think there might be an actual error with the certification of those electoral votes. And they were not using this process for that. This says it right here. Hawley was using it because he thinks about voter fraud. But there is no objecting to the electoral votes in the Senate that's going to show voter fraud. It's just showing that the votes were done and certified correctly coming from the state and then verified as such. I wouldn't support this process. I don't think that this was done well. And then here he's talking about how to object, how people speak for 60 minutes, and then call it close to debate. Not presently intending to come out. Thank you for that kind offer. Happy New Year, December 31st. And it's not over yet. Who knows what Trump will tweet before it's over? Wacky smiley face. Urgent. Christina with Sen Graham needs 5 best names of people who voted illegally in Wisconsin. Like dead people. Okay. Can you update your Obsidian? Why? I haven't even changed that much since yesterday, bro. Christ. If each state gets 1 vote in the House, then Pelosi must take acting and cannot allow a vote because I believe the R's have more states. Am I right? And here they're talking about how the House delegation would be the ones voting. Yes, from 26 states. McConnell should not allow a vote either because Republicans electing Pence would look illegitimate. It would seem like Pence froze the process to become acting president instead of Pelosi. Republicans electing Harris would be a horror. McConnell would need to protect his caucus from such a Hobson's choice. Best way for Dems to break impasse would be to get a few Republican reps in states with close delegations to abstain so Dems can win a majority of states. None of this happens unless Pence freezes the count. The community resolution is filibustered. I've been in touch with Eastman and Boris on the last 2 days. I think they briefed the senators. Ooh. So the senators are aware of something, I guess. Who knows if they were briefed on the entire plan. Filibustering states seems impossible unless someone withholds unanimous consent to the concurrent resolution that typically is voted January 3rd to ratify the ECA and its debate limitations. That's how current. The Senate binds itself to an act that otherwise can't be binding. Ted Cruz misreads the history of 1876 in his bid to secure acting President Nancy Pelosi. There's Cruz. Poor Ryan. Rhino, sad. Can't stop Pence from claiming the power to count the votes, unilaterally force delay, e.g. by refusing to open envelopes, makes it hard. Force Pence to allow for unlimited debate in the Senate. I assume the continuing resolution, once adopted by the Senate, modify the usual filibuster rules. Clearly, a filibuster of the states would be a more serious remedy than proposing a commission that wouldn't be adopted. Might be politically more effective than a filibuster, which might be viewed as a useless delay tactic. Vote against transparency might be. Turley on Fox. Professor Dorff on Pence. The stakes on January 6th. What day are we at? We're on January 4th. Why didn't Jack Smith indict the co-conspirators like Chesbrough now? I don't know. Did he? I don't remember who all the co-conspirators are in the indictments, or in the Jack Smith indictment. What do you think about using the narrative that Republicans are going to try to take away your ability to lay pipe raw without risking pregnancy? / cock everyone into using condoms by going after the pill. Who knows, my dude? Don't they think more kids is good? I've been on the phone with Mike Roman and Senator Johnson and Johnson's COS to get an original copy of Wisconsin's slate to the vice president. Not sure if you're involved, but call Mike to make sure he gets what he needs. Thanks, Jim. Wait, what's the point of this? Been on a call with Mike Roman and Senator Johnson and Johnson's COS to get an original copy of Wisconsin's slate to the vice president. An original copy of the... Oh, of the bullshit one? This is what they're talking about when they flew in and they were trying to get him. That's the one that we just watched on the 60 Minutes, right? I think. Jesus, well, that message, hold on. Oh, this is January 6th, okay. Enjoy the history you have made possible today. Trump sounds so forceful that maybe Pence has actually agreed to do something, at least like not opening the envelopes until the commission investigates. We'll see soon. Johnson cannot give the certificate we got to him to the vice president because it's not sealed. Someone opened it. We have been informed the vice president cannot accept any unsealed mail, and I cannot hand it to him. That is his note. Mine was sealed. So is the Michigan one. The ones delivered by Kelly's aide to Senate parliamentary yesterday from Michigan and Wisconsin were sealed. This could be an excuse for delay. I gather this is about one delivered today to Johnson. Some of the envelopes sent by registered mail to Senate president didn't arrive timely because registered mail is slow. The ones in Michigan stayed there 2 weeks. Watching now. Is anyone objecting to Arizona? Did it? We did it as required by statute. If the U.S. mail messed up, that's an excuse for delay. Archivist illegally is refusing to release the originals to Pence. You got it, Arizona. Well done, Ken. History is made. My God. Hanging with Alex Jones, LOL. I told him to put you on his show. Yikes. bro couldn't send next day air. It sounds like he was trying to send through, you can send something called, I think it's USPS certified mail, which means that when it's sent, you have to sign for the delivery and there's like an ID verification. I don't know if you can do like next day USPS certified. I'm not sure. That's the Ali Alexander guy too, right? Oh, maybe one of these guys in here. I'm not sure. Tear gas in the Capitol. I caught a whiff. LOL. Ooh, no more messages. And then... uh-oh. Emoji face. They're being told to stay away from Trump after a day of violence and 25th Amendment chatter. This is encouraging. President Trump issues a statement for the peaceful transition of power to the Biden administration. Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election, the facts bear me out. Nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. Maybe they're all in hiding, but it'd be nice if Trump surrogates got across that without Antifa's role in the actual breaking in, plus Capitol security, totally controlled by Pelosi and McConnell, the scene of the Capitol would have been entirely peaceful, and that Trump could not reasonably foreseen this. I think the president could put this behind him if he invites Biden and Harris over for coffee on inauguration morning and attends the virtual inauguration. If he boycotts, it feeds the idea that he's a breaker of all norms. He didn't go to that, right? He didn't show up to that? He could lighten it up with a couple of well-placed jokes, like he wants to make sure Joe feels comfortable calling him for advice in the challenging days ahead, or we invited Joe over for coffee because he wants to be sure Joe invites him 4 years from now. Did any Wisconsin folks ever speak in the legislative debates? I don't know. Very little of the debate was covered. Even on Fox, covered the riot instead. I think it was stupid to have a rally on Jan 6th. The original plan was Jan 5th, right? Would have been perfect to have a Jan 5th rally, then told people to go home, so the focus would be on the debate on Congress. Any interest in covering Trump before his presidency? Not useful for your video, but good for arguing his character in general? Maybe, but probably not. I think Pence has a lot to blame for this fiasco. He had top flight advice available to him more than a month ago from his general counsel, a former O'Melveny partner, who said he'd already studied the historical record of what the President and Senate had done on every objection. I sketched what we had in mind for alternate electors. With Pence not opening envelopes, I detected no enthusiasm for any deviation from the ACA. I now think that Pence had decided by then not to do anything to press the envelope or create a test case, but decided not to be straight with the president. If he had been up front, Trump would have known he had no chance to win, other than win in the courts or state legislatures before January 6th. If I'm right, Pence gave him false hope. He allowed Trump to hear of valid legal theories from Rudy and Eastman, which gave him hope, which was suddenly crushed when Pence crushed them at the end. Why did Pence do this? To stall until Georgia runoff was done? If you agree, maybe there should be an effort to criticize Pence for deceitful conduct that led to this chaos. At least Trump was always upfront about how he saw things. Jesus Christ. Christ. Thanks. I'm going to have a discussion with folks Monday a.m. FYI. Lawyer working to suppress legally cast votes. I got an even worse review. Seems libelous. Kenneth Chesbro, lawyer working to suppress legally cast votes. I don't know. Damn. UnAmericanBar.com. Of course, we had nothing to do with the federal case cited here. Not sure if telling this website that would do any good. I generally ignore things like this, or ignore these things. Let dead dogs lie. Yeah, Jim. In their Jan 6 speech to the crowd, Rudy and Eastman said that they had letters from 5 state legislators asking to be able to review and vote on the electoral votes. We should press to have the judiciary committees give reports saying the state statutes were violated and that the majority of lawful votes went to Trump. And then in light of this, statutory changes guaranteeing rapid review of the merits and tightening up the absentee ballots must be made. What was that? We need to defeat this narrative. As dangerous than Nazi propaganda. Fucking not Arnold. Oh, that's not even Arnold Schwarzenegger. Never mind. Wait, it is, right? Is it? Is it not? Oh, it is. Oh, Jesus. I just saw a different tweet name. I'm like, wait, am I getting mindfucked? Not something I thought I'd say, but stop whatever you were doing and watch Arnold Schwarzenegger's astonishing and deeply personal statement. He has it exactly backwards. the identification of those who are Trump people, the encouragement to cancel them and their business, the coordinating of decertification from all social medias from the left. I hope that does not end badly, but our side just does not get it. Holy Christ. I suspect Pence planned this long before, but didn't have the guts to tell Trump. What an essay. Russians and East Germans under communist Leonid Brezhnev and Erich Honecker in the 1970s lived under less ruling class pressure than do today's Americans, and their rulers were smart enough not to insult them, their country, or their race. Superb, thoughtful. We hear today about Friday's cert conference. A cert denied, page 7. Damn. That means the Supreme Court said, nope, don't care. Did any of the Trump cases have a cert granted? Your work was incredible, Ken. I'm honored to have been a part of it. Jesus. God damn. Okay. You said something very simple earlier about how only one side is held to a nonviolent standard, same with Israel. Is this a symptom of increasing polarization? I don't know what causes that, I'm not sure. Okay, James Trubis, a former judge in Wisconsin who I believe was hired as the lead attorney for Trump in Wisconsin. He's the one that reached out. Did Mr. Trupis mention anything to you about states other than Wisconsin in his initial outreach, which is focused on Wisconsin? After you received that call on or about November 10th, what'd you do? I started helping on his effort to recount Wisconsin. What types of things did you do to help? I think Mr. Kaufman probably has an objection. Yeah, I think at this point we would invoke attorney-client privilege to the substance of the work that he did for the campaign. Okay. On that point, did you ever have an engagement letter that memorialized an attorney-client relationship with President Trump or the Trump campaign? There was a confirmatory email, I think, that was turned over, but no formal engagement letter. That email came from Mr. Trupis, I believe, yeah. It was confirming that I was helping him on the case. I was doing the whole thing pro bono without charging, so that apparently he thought it was not necessary to have a formal retention letter because the client wouldn't have a monetary outlay. Interesting. Were there other communications, either confirmatory or explaining the scope of the services that you're going to be providing pro bono on behalf of the Trump campaign? I think I don't recall the specifics. There was just an email exchange between me and Mr. Trupis. Mr. Kaufman, I guess, could address that in terms of the documents that may have forwarded. Other than the email you're discussing here, did you ever later in time receive any other type of engagement letter or confirmatory email seeking your assistance over legal services for the campaign? Mr. Kaufman reviewed the specifics there as being blah, 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 blah. Okay. Is there anything like of interest here? I don't need to read this entire fucking deposition. Pro tip, always get a retention letter, even for pro bono work, if only to act as a record of the scope and service of the work. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't get that in writing. If even, like, I wonder if your attorney-client privilege could ever be called into question if you didn't even get that letter, right? Could somebody not claim that, like, well, you're not giving him advice as an attorney, you're just, like, giving him advice as a friend. Like, we can inquire about all of this. There is no attorney-client privilege here because you don't even have an attorney-client relationship that's, like, actually, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know, it seems, but I don't know, I'm not sure. Do you have any meetings with the president? Dan, we're going to, I think the idea, the concept of the people with whom Mr. Chesbrough met, we're going to invoke a Fifth Amendment privilege. Okay, so Mr. Chesbrough, I understand what your lawyer just said. Ultimately, that's your privilege to assert, and so if you would like to respond to any of these questions, being clear that you're applying the Fifth Amendment or asserting the Fifth Amendment, we'd appreciate that, but we do need to have that come from you. Right, yes. So just in the advice of my lawyer, I'm invoking my 5th. Okay, and just to be clear, the question, did you have any direct communication with President Trump? He's invoking the 5th there. Oh, speaking on Signal. He's spoken to somebody through Signal, but he can't talk about the substance of it because he's invoking attorney-client privilege. Invoking the 5th about the 2 tracks to win the election. Chat froze on stream. One day, this will stop freezing. What do we have for exhibits here? Do they show exhibits in these PDFs? Fuck, cringe. Attorney-client privilege and 5th Amendment. Can't disclose any communication here. Nothing here. Okay, fuck this. Okay. Kenneth Chesborough was an attorney from Wisconsin who began working with the Trump campaign at the behest of, what was Troupis' first name? Jim Troupis? Another lawyer for Trump's campaign around November 9th, 2020. He was responsible for the creation of the first few memos outlining potential scheme that Trump could utilize to challenge the certification of the electoral vote on January 6th. Chesborough believed that if people gathered and falsely attested to being legitimate state electors and transmitted said votes on December 14th to Congress and NARA, that it would keep Trump's chances alive to win the election should a court rule in his favor from between December 14th, the date that the electors in all 50 states certified their votes for president, and January 6th, the date that Congress was scheduled to count the electorate slates. Are all insurrections definitively coups? I'm not sure. Probably tomorrow. I think I did it on Thursday. Tomorrow, Wednesday. I've got two really good sources for how we'll like iron down or nail down like exactly what we mean when we say insurrection or coup. Okay, let's see. December 9th, 2020, Chesbro memo. Can we find this? To Troopus from Chesbro. Here's a summary of the requirements under federal law and under the law of the 6 states in controversy concerning what is required for presidential electors to validate. Wait, were there 6 or 7 of these? I feel like I've always said 7. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Wait, which? Hold on, wait. False electorate slates. Why is the internet so slow right now? Six originally, then they added 1. Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Yeah, okay, there were 7. All right. It appears that even though none of the Trump-Pence electors are currently certified as having been elected by the voters of their state, most of the electors, with the possible exception of the Nevada electors, will be able to take the essential steps needed to validly cast and transmit their votes so that the votes might be eligible to be counted if later recognized by a court, the state legislature, or Congress as a valid ones that actually count in the presidential election. On why this could work, see here and here. Fuck, what are these links? They can do so without any involvement by the governor or any other state official, except in some states where access to the Capitol building is or might be needed, or where the governor must approve a substitute elector, or in Nevada, where the Secretary of State is involved. It's important that the Trump-Pence campaign focus carefully on these details as soon as possible if the aim is to ensure that all 79 electoral votes are properly cast and transmitted, each electoral vote being potentially important. If the election ultimately extends to and perhaps past January 6th in Congress, the National Archives is a very helpful checklist here. Federal law. Requirements for the December 14th electors meeting are set out in 3 U.S.C. Subsection 6 to 11. Under federal law, the Trump-Pence electors must all meet together on December 14th at such place in each state as the legislature of such state shall direct. In most states, there is no requirement that they meet in public. It might be preferable for them to meet in private, if possible, to thwart the ability of protesters to disrupt the event. Witness via this video what happened when the Trump-Pence electors met in public in Wisconsin in 2016, even though the Trump-Pence victory had not been contested. Even if held in private, perhaps print and even TV journalists would be invited to attend to cover the event. Okay. preferably all electors who are on the ballot in the particular state would be in attendance, but if some are unwilling due to intimidation or unable to make it, at least 4 of the states permit the electors who do attend to fill the empty slots with alternates. However, it is vital that any party stalwarts who are on hand to fill in if necessary, be constitutionally eligible to serve as per Article 2, Section, not a federal official or federal employee. The electors would then all vote for Trump for president and Pence for vice president separately. The electors would then prepare and sign 6 identical sets of papers, certificates, listing all separate headings their votes, indicating that each of them has voted for Trump for president and Pence for vice president. For example, see here. The only thing ordinarily contemplated by Section 9 that the Trump-Pence electors would not be able to do is include with their certificates the certificate of ascertainment that the governor is directed to give the winning electors pursuant to 3 U.S.C. Section 6. But as the Hawaii 1960 example shows, see here and here, this is hardly fatal. Proof that the Trump-Pence electors are the validly appointed ones can be furnished to Congress before it meets on January 6th. Next, the electors would place each certificate in a separate envelope, seal up the envelopes, and indicate on the outside of the envelopes that they contain the votes of the state for president and vice president. Finally, the electors would transmit the 6 envelopes